Hi, Nursing 451 students. This is Dr. Amy Piontek. I'll be your instructor for the next 8 weeks. For some of you, I'll be your instructor for 452. So it'll be for the next 16 weeks for some of you. I just wanted to go over a few things regarding the 451 course. The first off is you're at the Start Here orientation tab. And so there's just a few things for you to do. The first is reviewing the screencast-o-matic video, which you've accessed by clicking on the video. And then the other thing that I would like for you to do is the orientation scavenger hunt. So prior to doing the scavenger hunt, it's a good idea to go through each one of the tabs in the course and really become familiar with the course. I would like for you to read the syllabus and read through the rubrics, and then of course read through the calendar, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Also on the Start Here orientation page is the ADA and academic honesty policy. So you can read through that. And once you've become completely familiar with the course, then you can come back to this orientation scavenger hunt. It's only worth a couple of points. It's not worth a whole lot. It's just a fun, easy way to make sure that you know the logistics behind this course. Things like what the office hours are and certain assignments that are going to be due. So let's go into the announcements tab. This is an important tab because every week I'm going to post an announcement. I did save some announcements from last year, so you might see those. And I like this one, for example, that you see on the screen, because I have it open up on the instructor side, so you kind of see what I see, but you don't necessarily see this on your screen. But when we start thinking about SMART objectives, again, if you don't know what they are, don't worry, we're going to cover them. I left a few things up from last year that I felt was helpful for the students. And so instead of reinventing the wheel and doing it each year, some components I like to re-embed into the course. So, but the announcements page, this is something that I want all of you to check into every week. When I create an announcement, it is going to be what we're going to be doing for that week. It might also be certain concepts from the week prior that really need to be talked about in a little bit greater detail. So I take that opportunity to just really hit on some concepts that I thought needed to be discussed a little bit further. The announcement, when I create an announcement, I automatically send a reminder or notification to your McKendree email account. So you might be able to pull the announcement up on your smartphone. Some students are able to do that. Others have to use their tablet or their computer to pull up the announcement. But that basically, when you get that email, that's what that means. It means another announcement has been created. So, and again, I do these weekly. The instructor tab is the next tab, and it just has my information about my email, the work number, the office hours, and I respond to emails within 24 hours. If after 24 hours you haven't heard from me, just either call me or resend the email. Sometimes when I'm traveling, and I do a little bit of traveling, I go to conferences and conventions and I speak and that sort of thing. So if I'm in a dead zone during, like if I'm in an airplane, for example, and it doesn't go through, if you haven't heard from me in 24 hours, just go ahead and reach out to me again, because it was probably in the fact that I was in an area where I was not able to get that email. My cell number is also here, and if you do text me, please make sure that you include your name within that text, so that way then I know who it is that I'm responding to. I don't have everybody's phone numbers programmed into my phone for obvious reasons. So the next tab is the syllabus, rubrics, and calendar tab. The calendar, if I have it, there we go. It's broken up into modules, the focus for each module, and then activities that are due. So for example, with Module 1, we start on August 27th, we go through September 2nd. The focus is orientation and getting started. You'll have a discussion board that is due, as well as the orientation scavenger hunt. So those are the two items that will be due for this week, Module 1. When I post the announcements, I will oftentimes pull up the calendar and just go through the specific components that are due for that week, so that way everyone's on the same page. so no assignments are missed. Here is the syllabus, and then I have our 2 texts. So please make sure that you have both of these texts, as we will be doing readings out of the population health text. And then when you write papers or when you're creating your discussion board post, you will be using the APA manual. So make sure you have both of those. All of the rubrics for the courses are included here, so you can take a moment and look at that. The Share It rubric, this is a Share It presentation. This is actually a group project that you will be doing with a couple other classmates. And the purpose of the Share It presentation, so it can be a PowerPoint or it can be a Prezi presentation, this is due at the end of the class. But what you're going to do is you're going to synthesize all the information that you've learned through this course, create a presentation that you would deliver to an audience, such as nurses, who have never heard of what population health is. They have no idea what population health is. So it's a really great opportunity to sort of strut your stuff and show what you've learned, and then deliver it in a, and you won't actually have to do the presentation unless you want to, but the purpose is basically there's 2 aspects to this. The first is collaborative work. So you're going to be working with other students in your class to come up with this presentation. The second part of this is really sharing what you've learned with a group of people who have no idea what population health is. So really kind of getting the word out there. And like I said, you don't have to give this presentation to anyone if you don't want to, but you certainly can if you would like to. So then the next item is the IT support help desk. If you have any issues with Blackboard or uploading papers or anything like that, you can contact the help desk. Their phone number is here, and then their email address is here. I have their hours listed here as well. Okay. So let's go into the modules briefly. Each week you'll have a new module, and I will, when I post the announcements, I will go into greater detail. So for example, I won't post an announcement for week 1. I'll just cover it here in this in the orientation. But for example, for week 1, the overview again is to complete the scavenger hunt, to respond in the discussion board, particularly the introduction section, and then what does population health mean to you. You'll review PowerPoints regarding the roles of nurses within the community. And so here's the PowerPoints of the different roles. And this really comes into play, particularly when we start talking about Nursing 452. And I'll give you at the end of this orientation video, I'm going to touch on a little bit about Nursing 452. So this gives you an idea about what nurses do in the population outside of the hospital institution, okay? And then, of course, we have our discussion board and then the scavenger hunt. So again, you will, before doing the scavenger hunt, you'll go through all the modules, you'll go through all the assignments, make sure you've hit on every one of the tabs, really get to know the course, and then take the scavenger hunt. Okay, so when you go into the discussion board then, so for week 1, the first part is introduce yourself, and then the second part is your aspects of what you've heard about population health and what you'd like to gain from this course. So let's talk a little bit about groups. So if you go on, oh, sorry about that. I'm not sure why that came up. So if you go into Share It presentation, and your screen may not show this. I think how it will populate on your screen is it'll be the group that you are specifically assigned to. So for group 1, I'll show you who the group set is. There we go. So for group 1, Tara, Virginia, and James are all in a group together. The neat thing about this setting in groups is you have your own discussion board, you have your own wiki, you can send emails to just the people within your group. So when you are working on your Share It presentation towards the middle and towards the end of the course, this is where you're really going to do a lot of your communication. I do not mind whatsoever if you want to, do strictly email communication or verbal communication over the phone, or if you're lucky enough to have a group where you are all located in the same geographical location. If you meet face to face, that's fine too. That certainly is a huge advantage, although I'm not sure that it always works out that way, given that this is an online program. So we'll talk a little bit more about the group share presentation as the course progresses. The next item that I wanted to show you is the Castle branch. So in order to progress into 452, which is the practicum course, you will need to complete your Castle branch requirements. So I would like for you to become familiar with all of this. Once your Castle branch, all the records are completed, you can take a screenshot of it. You'll have basically 2 green check marks that show that your background check has been completed, and then all of the other immunization records and that sort of thing has been completed. When you have that screenshot, you can upload that here to this assignment Dropbox, and that proves that you've completed your Castle branch background. Now, I will check into this program periodically, usually on a weekly basis, to see how everyone is progressing with their requirements. If you get emails from me that says you need to address certain issues, please email me back with, yes, I understand, I'm going to be addressing that soon, or otherwise I'm going to just have to assume that you're not staying on top of the task of getting the Castle branch complete. And unfortunately, if you don't have your Castle branch complete by the end of this course, by the end of 451, you cannot technically move on to 452. So it's really, really important that you complete the Castle branch requirement in this course. Virtual office hours you can access here, and they're between 9 and 10 in the morning on Wednesdays. If you click on this link, it will bring you right to the office hours, okay? So I'm in there between 9 and 10. When you come into office hours, I get a little, like a doorbell kind of ring, and then we can actually communicate virtually, face to face, more or less, through our computers. So if you would rather just ask questions through the email, that's fine too. I don't have a problem with that. Or if you want to call me, that works as well. So the next thing that I wanted to discuss with you all is sorry about that, 452. So with 452, now again, this is the second half of the 8 weeks for the semester. Even though it says it's a 40-hour practicum, what that means though for this class is you do not have 40 hours with one preceptor in one facility, okay? So you don't have to do the preceptor contracts or anything like that that you may have heard about. That will come next spring when you do 472. But for 452, what you're going to do is you're going to be working with a specific population of your choosing, whatever interests you. So if it's like school-age children, or if it's the elderly, for example, you're going to pick a population and then a health-related issue within that population. And that you're actually going to do here in 451. You're going to choose your population, you're going to choose the health-related issue, and then what we do in 452 is we streamline that into identifying at least three key players that are going to help you. So for example, if you do childhood obesity, you might go into the school system, you're going to talk to the principal, you might talk to teachers, maybe a nutritionist, and perhaps a school nurse. You're going to get as much information as you can from these people so you can generate a really great program that you're going to deliver to your specific population. If it's children, or perhaps it's teachers and parents who can help with the issue within the population. So I just wanted to put that out there that you don't have to take 40 hours of vacation time. This is really going to be time that you set aside, during the week, maybe in the evenings or on the weekends, to get your hours. And we'll talk more about that a little bit as time goes on. So if you have any questions, give me a holler.